going on, guys? I'm your host, Dilly at Panic Gaming, and welcome back to the Panic Gaming channel. Now today we got a brand new video headed your way, and this video is coming out a little bit later than usual, but this is the KENSEI backstory, and you guys know how this thing works. You know, if you've seen the backstory videos, then you should be up to date, but if you haven't seen the backstory videos, go ahead and check those out now, because it will help, you know, the flow of the story and help you understand things a lot better. But anyway, we're gonna go ahead and say that this backstory is taking place. It's taking place while Astaroth, which is the warden, his backstory. It's taking place while Astaroth is in Valkenheim. And it's taking place when the Berserker joins, you know, Astaroth during that whole thing. So basically, this is doing nothing but checking up on what's going on in the East, or the Mire, or whatever you want to call it. And you know, after that, you know, it's gonna be just straight. It's just gonna be straight backstory with different heroes. I'm thinking either Centurions or Shamans is gonna be next. But other than that, you know, we got KENSEI'S right now. I write them every week. It's just I've been busy this week, you know, living life and stuff like that. But anyway, without further ado, my friends, after a minute and 52 seconds of fucking intro, let's get right into this. Alright, so KENSEI'S backstory. I got, I think like 5 papers on this. And let's start. On July 15th, a great future daimyo was born. His name is Kuma. Kuma was raised in the town known as Kawareto? I'm not sure how that's pronounced at all, but you know what? Whatever, he was raised there. He was a slave to a noble daimyo. His mother sold him and his brother Tanuki into slavery at a very young age. And he never really understood love, with his brother being an exception. Kuma and Tanuki were kept together through their childhood, and into their teenage years. Kuma was lucky enough to be chosen as an inside worker, while Tanuki was a worker in the rice fields.
Moshi, mother.
One day, the daimyo who owned, quote-unquote, Kuma and Tanuki told the two that he had gotten a new legendary sword, and that the sword was owned by the 10th Emperor, and that the 10th Emperor was killed during an exorcism in an attempt to banish the devil from his body, and that many believed the devil possessed the legendary sword and is still inside it today. "No one touch this blade. Do you understand?" the daimyo asked. The boys nodded and went back to work. Well, one day when the daimyo was gone to the capital, Kuma got curious about the blade. He walks up to it on the wall and grabs it. He examines it for a short time and then draws the blade. He wipes the blade with his hand and accidentally cuts himself. And as soon as he does, he bursts into blue flames. All he can see is a black room with blue flames all around him. He hears a low but deep laughter. He begins to panic and call for his brother. Then he hears the same laughing voice say, "He can't save you now." The voice begins laughing louder and louder when a small red ball of fire enters Kuma's chest. Then everything returns to normal. Kuma is standing there with the blade in his hand and staring at it. He begins to scream as Tanuki runs in and says, "Kuma, what the hell is going on?" Kuma looks at his brother and says, "I don't feel right," as he faints. Kuma wakes up to the daimyo saying, "You idiot, you opened the blade, didn't you?" "Sir, I didn't mean," as a deep voice channels through Kuma saying, "You're weak. You are all weak." The daimyo turns to run as Kuma grabs the sword and kills him. Kuma comes to and says, What the hell did I do?" As he begins to cry, Kuma runs outside to the fields to find Tanuki and tells him they must run. His shit's dramatic, man, I'm telling you. And the voices I'm doing, I'm not gonna lie, it's on point. But, anyway, this is our third page. They run to the swamps and begin to build a hut and a campground. Tanuki begins to question Kuma with questions like, "What is going on with you? And why did we run?" Kuma just responds, "I killed the daimyo." Tanuki and Kuma talk about it, and the sword, and the devil, and what's next. They fall asleep on the note that they must never return. Kuma wakes up to the sound of movement. Someone putting wood onto the fire they built. He sits up and sees a shaman sitting there eating some form of meat, not sure what kind. Kuma then yells, "Tanuki, a Viking!" Tanuki sits up and is startled by the sight of her. She says in Japanese, "Calm down, you two. Odin told me everything. Your name is Kuma, right?" "Yes, it is. Who the hell are you?" Kuma asks. She responds, "My name is Solveig, and I was sent here by Odin to do a ritual on you and help you tame this force inside of you. All I need is the sword." Kuma looks at Tanuki and says, "Shit, it's still in the house." "Well, we must go retrieve it," says Solveig. So they all discuss a plan to get it back and head out for the palace of this fucking name, dude. This fucking name. Toto. Believe I got it down. Toto. Alright, it's a retarded name, but it works, I guess. Let's continue. It is early morning when they arrive, before the sunrise. Solveig looks at the two and says, "You guys know the place best. Lead the way." They climb over a wall and enter the compound. Tanuki looks around a corner and says quietly, "Holy shit." "What?" Kuma whispers. "The fucking Emperor is here." Tanuki responds, "They're probably just trying to figure out what happened here," Kuma says. "Oh well, we must get inside," says Solveig. Tanuki looks up and notices a window above. They climb through and find the room with the sword. "Okay, let's grab it," Solveig says as a guard shouts, "Hey! What are you doing in here?" "Shit, we have to do it here," Solveig says. "Tanuki, hold them off." So Solveig begins the ritual, and Tanuki defends them against the guards. A flash of blue flame comes from Kuma as he sits up and looks at Solveig. "I made it so you can control the devil's power, meaning you can use it in combat. Go get them, Kuma," says Solveig. Kuma gets up and walks toward the door with the legendary blade in his hand as he controls the blue flames around him. With the flames, he kills all the guards in his way, and when he did, a laugh could be heard in a deep, deep manner. And Tanuki looks at his brother and says, "He has the face of an Oni, holy shit." Kuma then walks up to the Emperor and says, "You're looking for the guy who killed your guards and the daimyo here, correct? Well, I'm that guy." The Emperor draws his sword and says, "I will slay you, demon." The mask and the blue flames appear, and they fight and slash until both of them fall on one knee. "You're a great warrior," the Emperor exclaims. "Why don't you become a daimyo and become one of my elite KENSEI'S?" Kuma looks down and responds, "Where do I sign up?" "Good. Your brother can become a loyal shinobi as well." So he became a ruthless daimyo. I mean, that's basically what happened. He became a ruthless daimyo with his brother at his side. Solveig went back to Valkenheim and watched from a distance, of course still taking interest in the two. And she'll never forget how it feels for one day to know her sons. And Tanuki starts to hate Kuma because Kuma's a daimyo just because of that mask. Tanuki begins to get jealous over Kuma's ability. He never tells Kuma about his jealousy until later. To be continued. Now, holy shit, things just got crazy. Solveig, we learned a thing about her with the whole, you know, what it feels like to spend a day with her two sons. Now, you know, obviously, you know, that's exclaiming, holy shit, that's her children, you know. So, I'm going to do a backstory for Shaman. She will, you know, explain in that about how and why she sold Tanuki, which is the shinobi, in this whole dilemma, and Kuma, which is the Kensei, in this whole dilemma. I'm gonna basically explain why she had to sell them, what she did in between the time, and then explain, you know, what happens afterwards and about how she's watching from the distance. What I you know, am thinking about doing is that, you know, she sees, because she is a shaman, she does all them crazy rituals, and people say, ooh, she's a shaman, she has some spiritual connections. She sees what might happen to everyone in this whole ordeal with Astaroth, with Adver, which, of course, you know, if you probably have seen the other backstory videos, this is the, Adver is the Berserker, Astaroth is the Warden. There's a new character coming, I will say his name is Distratore. It's, Italian or Latin, I think it's Latin for Destructor, and, you know, I'm not going to get much into that because I'm going to let Trey take over that one. I guess his name is Flames of Fury now, which is Trey's new name, so, I guess I'm just going to call him Trey, you know. That's what, Trey's going to take that one and stuff like that. But, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this backstory video. I'm sorry it came out a little bit late, but, I felt I needed to explain what happened with Kensei and his brother, the shinobi Tanuki, his mother, Solveig, the shaman, and why that's all kind of fucked up. And, after I do the Emperor's backstory, which will be Orochi's, then we'll move forward with the actual story instead of backstories. I'm sure next week it will be Centurions, which I'm thinking Trey has that. Then the week after that I'll probably do Shamans, and then the week after that I'll do Orochi's, which is the Emperor in this scenario, and then we'll continue the actual story from there. You guys got to remember that Tanuki is starting to get jealous and hating Kuma a little bit, and that will continue in the future. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I love you guys. You guys are the best. Of course, we are at like what, 527 subscribers. It's getting insane to where the point I am really happy. And you know, summer's coming up. Maybe it'll be a possible everyday upload schedule for me, because in the summer, you know, I usually don't have much to do. But anyway, I love you guys. I hope you enjoyed. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe, of course, and I will see you in the next one. Deuces.